Good morning and welcome to Cat Angel's multiverse, right? Multiverse was it? Where we paint Mini day by day or more or less day by day. Today I am very early. I start work in about some time, but I thought maybe we can make a little stream before I start to work and have coffee together. We paint today. We finish this space here. This space here. Just some gray because it's more or less it should be stone. And after that we create the guy, or we paint the guy that should be on top of this base, and that's this one, already primed and zenithal highlighting. I want to try another technique for zenithal highlighting after all those things I have painted now. And that's about dry brushing. Dry brushing the Mini as a zenithal highlighting. Then it's not a real zenithal highlighting, to be fair then. Because it's not a color that comes from the top, but it will have a quite similar effect that areas that are more exposed to the light are white or bright, let's say bright, maybe it's not really white, and the other parts are then a little bit obscured in dark color. And a little shaking for a dark gray for now. I will use now my other palette here for dry brushing. Already there a little bit dried paint, but that's okay. For this is for dry brushing, so it's just another palette and not I just don't get around it. It just looks so nice, and then I put all those color things on it, so yeah, it feels a little bit weird for me, but anyway, that's just me. Put on a little bit of this color on the brush and work it nicely in the brush. Test it. It's not bad. And now we just dry brushing slightly all over it. I think it already gets a little bit light, but I guess I will have to really get lighter grays for this to save it. I mean, I want the brownish color still there, but just in the recesses, so that it looks like it's stone but with wet dirt in it. Yeah, let's just get a little bit of another gray, the light gray. Oh, and if you hear something ring, that's my alarm, because yeah, I don't want to waste my work. That's the thing. Now we get both colors on it. That's not the greatest idea I had. To put the wet palette under the dry palette. Anyway. Work in these two colors into the brush. It's already quite dry. Yeah, now it gets the look I want. Slowly, steady, just slightly touching the surface of this stony-like thing. On the side a little bit more, because the dirt should be there just slightly, because the dirt will fall off of sides. So that's my idea at least. And just a touch more here, a little bit more pressure. Yeah. I think it's very difficult to see for you guys because the shadows here, I've forgotten the other light, right? That's it. Maybe like this. Maybe it's better now. Yeah, a bit. I guess it's a bit better now. So now we just get a little bit of the plain lighter gray I have here. And yeah, it's just a little bit too much, I guess. But slightly touching the surface just to get a little touch of highlight there. Especially on the edges of this thing. And I dry brush in just one direction because I want to get the slight vision that the light comes from this side. So I just brush in this direction. Except here for the stones again, because I want the stones a slightly bit more edgy. Yeah, that's good. So here again a little bit more. Yeah, I am quite happy how this looks. Now, the big question here is sometimes how to clean the brush between the dry brush between colors, because sometimes I don't want the color to mix in with the color before. What I do is just scrub it on my paper towel real long. I don't know if this is a good technique, or if you guys have a different technique how to clean the brush between layers or colors, let's say between colors, or the dry brush, feel free to write your solution to this problem. Because if I really want to clean the brush afterwards, I just put it a little bit in water and then make the same thing. I don't know if this is a good thing or not for the brush, but the colors are getting then off the brush, the bristles. At least a little bit better than just cleaning it dry. But if it's then too damp, you can't dry brush anymore, or not that good. So now let's get the wet palette back, and not putting the wet palette on the color of the dry palette, just clean the color here off. So now we still have the color of our little froggy on it, boing. But that's okay. I have got myself a big wet palette because sometimes I just mix all over, and I had the situation that my small wet palette was too small, so I get myself a big one. I got myself a big one, not get, because it's the past, right? Right? So now, do I have to get my, yeah, I guess it's a good idea to firstly put the mini on the base and then put it on the holder. Give me a second. So let's put this little guy on. Yeah, it's not that little, I have to say. if I compare it with other minis I have painted, it's quite a big one, to be fair. Those let's say race. I'm not sure if race is the right word for it, but I guess in D&D there are races of different kind of people, and that's not meant negative. And I always forget how this race is called. It's like they are a little bit bigger often and not that humanoid. Firebog? Firebog. They are humanoid, but they have less. It's not like just an elf that has is a little bit thinner and has pointy ears. It's a little bit more things that's going on there. So let's just store my glue away. A second, please. I mean, even if you don't get that much time today, maybe we have time in the afternoon again, but at least I can say I have painted today. Oh, one thing I like to do, should I do it now? Yeah, come on, we do it now, is to get a quite big brush and damp it not in the coffee, right? Yeah, good. Get black on my brush. And now you see, now from the dry brushing there is some color on the ring of the base. I call it now ring. I don't know if this is the right word. Maybe there is a bit better word for this. And I make it black again. I have seen other people doing different colors. That's useful if you play D&D and want to differentiate between the same kind of mini. Then you can say, yeah, the blue frog or the yellow frog or the frog with the yellow base, let's say it like this, and don't have to paint every frog differently. At the moment, at least for me, I just have the minis to paint. I just like to paint it. But I'm not against playing then with them if I have a group. So maybe I have to do something like this too, I don't know. But I can also imagine to paint the frogs quite differently for the reason of differentiate between them. There are leaves on the frog, so you can just simply paint the leaves in different colors. Or the skin of the frog. I have chosen green, like classical green frogs, more or less classical. But you also can paint red frogs, like the tomato frogs, or blue. I have seen a yellow blue one lately on Instagram. Yeah, that's the call for me to prepare for work. So we have still quarter of an hour, 15 minutes. Let's see where we get with 15 minutes. I mean, I don't have to clean up many things here, so it's not that I am really fast. I am at home office at the moment, so I don't have to drive to work, and it's not, I just can't start the computer and go. And a sip of coffee. And then put this guy in the holder, and then we can continue our work. Now, at first, I analyze a bit what and how I want to paint it. That's quite the challenge, because there are so many little details. I like this on Lutz. I just like this on Lutz. What I clearly want to have is here, those leaves. They are looking for me like ahorn. I don't know that word in English. I think it's also ahorn. No, it's not ahorn. Anyhow, there are maple. I think it's maple, but I'm not quite sure if this is really the word. But this kind of leaves of this tree. This tree has such great colors in the oh, what's called it? I just get lost of this word. It's not spring, it's not summer, and it's not winter. It's the fourth of them, the one that we are getting now, the season. Sometimes I just get lost of words. I mean, it's more often in English because I'm not English is not my native language. But it happens to me too in other languages, so I just get lost of one word. Anyway, you know what I mean. I guess you know what I mean. It's so bright colors of this tree, and they are greens and browns and yellows and orange and reds, and I want to paint this part of it in those colors. And I think I could just create like a wet blending or something over this to make this pop, and afterwards painting the cloak. But for the wet blending we don't have time now. That's for me at least, it's a little bit time intensive to get the right amount of color and then mix it. So we can, I firstly thought of painting each one leaf, but now I'm thinking of just making a wet blend from the yellow to the dark red or something. Could also look very nice. And if you have here yellow and red, the cloak I want to make green. So it's a nice contrast to it. And if the cloak is green, you see how I structure my colors, or how I get my color scheme. If the cloak is green, I want a different color for this under cloak here. And I want this a dirty yellow, I guess. So a brownish yellow. I think this sounds good. Do I have a brownish yellow? Or, yeah, sometimes I also start with the face. That's another thing I could do. Maybe not this time. This time not. Yeah. Okay, a dirty brownish yellow. I still have here yellow on my palette from yesterday. Let's just try out and get a little bit yellow and a little bit of this red brown. And let's see which color turns out. If this is a yellow color that I would like, that's great. And if not, I have to improvise. Yeah, I guess that's not that bad of a color. But then this means I start with I have now a little bit blue on my tip of my brush. Just where is it? Here is it. A touch of glaze medium to make the paint a little bit thinner so it runs a little bit better around the mini. So let's see how far we get if we paint just the darkest parts of this undercloak here. Or not that we paint just the darkest parts of it, but at least for today that would be the goal. Let me sharpen the camera a little bit. Hope you can see it better. So it's a brownish, yellowish, orangish color now. With the goal that if we layer upwards afterwards, that we can simply add more and more yellow to get the right, yeah, you know, the right color at the end. I'm still trying out different techniques. Which one, I don't know which one will work best for me or best for each situation, let's say it like this. So maybe I will change my techniques after a while, or with each mini at the moment even. I mean, you know, from the last mini we have painted, the frog, there was a different approach. And that's, by the way, my working horse here, this brush. It's not always that good. It's a quite big brush, I think, for the aspect of mini painting. And I think I have messed it up a little bit. Just because I'm a beginner and yeah, you have to learn how to take care of your brushes. That's also something you have to learn in this hobby. Especially if you have cheap synthetic brushes, it's not that big of a deal because you anyway have to buy more often new brushes. But if you use those expensive sable brushes, you have to be careful with them, because I don't want to buy every now and then such a new brush, because they can hold over years if you take care of them. And I don't know, it's not even that messed up, but sometimes I think the color gets stuck in the bristles because it's not that clean anymore. So this yellow, does it appear somewhere else? Interesting. For me now, for my how I look at it, it's not something that will reappear anywhere on the mini again. That's quite interesting. Maybe I find somewhere where I can use it again, but not at the moment, at least. Maybe if we work with the mini later, we find out where to put this color again. I just go over it with a second layer now. It's maybe a little bit too wet at the moment still. But it works. I have put it on very thin, so it's already quite dry, the paint, so I can get over it with a second layer. Now there is another undercoat of this cloak or whatever he's wearing. You've just seen it here. How do I get there with my brush? Like this, and then like this. That's also quite an interesting challenge sometimes, to get to some spots on the mini with the brush. Because if you have a brush like this, where the belly is quite big, you have the problem that the belly gets in the way. And that's quite annoying. Now we have just a few minutes time. So what could we just paint in this color? Oh, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. Maybe I really have to just start painting the whole mini to get where the color goes then. Ha. Interesting. Now each and every mini is different. So now I'm starting just with a little bit lighter color here to start layering the upper parts of this. It's getting a little bit orangish. I see that. Orangey. But I guess we have time, still time to get to the second color here. So I'm just putting this color on the slightly higher parts of this mini, or also like the brim here. Maybe a touch more yellow. Because the brim will also be touched by the light. So. And there we go. The light is such an important thing, and such, it's not, let's say it's not that difficult, but it's also not easy. I think it's not difficult to start a little bit of where to put which light, but it gets difficult if you want to play with the lights. If you want to play with the lights, it suddenly gets quite difficult because there is light there and there is light here and so on and so on. And it's just a little bit too less paint on my palette. But I don't want to mix much more, so I try to scrap every inch of paint, or however it's called, to finish my job here. If I would now paint another half an hour or so, I guess I would just mix more of this paint. But yeah, as said, yeah, that's the call. I will finish now this this part with the first layer here for the highlights. I just will finish this. Afterwards, I have to go to work. And I hope that you have a great day, and I hope also that you get to your minis in time to get them painted. And now we are again at this point where we have to angle the mini to get to the parts we want to to cover with colors. So, please, just a little bit color. Just a little bit of color. Ah. So. I mean, back here, it's just a touch of color, that's okay. But here at the side, we need a little bit more. So now, you already see, if you look at it, that we have a slightly dark and shadow pattern here. Just put here a slightly of this paint again. And if you push this approach, the mini will look very fast, quite good, at least in my experience now. I am not the most experienced painter, as said, but you get quite fast some kind of insight where what to do. You can, with quite simple techniques, get really good results, or good enough results to put it on your shelf. Now I just let this brush a little bit clean of the brush here and put it down. Close my wet palette, not like yesterday. I forgot yesterday to close my wet palette, but it seems to be such a good wet palette that it has not dried out the paint that much. It could be worse. So yeah, and throw away my coffee glass. Great. So this is now the result of, let's say, half an hour work, and I'm quite happy. I mean, we have painted the base, at least in a fast dry brushy way. Maybe I will put on some grass or so. And we have started to paint this undercloak, which I'm quite happy with. I want to push it more into yellow than this brown at the moment, but it's something we will do later. Maybe I will do this also off stream at the evening or so. I don't want, at the moment at least, I don't want to stream everything. Yeah, but I want to just show a little bit, and sometimes also to show which paint I have used, or so for reference for me, or maybe in a year to go back and see, oh, why did I do this there? No, cat, no. But anyway, I wish you a wonderful day, and I got stuck on the Critical Role ending. And is it Thursday yet? No, it's not Thursday, but it's Tuesday, and on Tuesday I can watch Critical Role from the last Thursday, because it's too late for me to watch it on Thursday, and I don't have I can't watch it on the time in between, so I have to watch it now. Anyway, again, I wish you a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. And I repeat myself because I'm just a beginner on streaming again, and I don't know what to say for the ending. Yeah, I have to figure that out. Have a very nice day.